Alright, just we get into the spirit of things here. Since this is a mobile conference, I'm going to videotape all of you clapping so I can tweet it. Alright, one more time. You can see that up later in the day. Alright, so I'm Rangaiah, and as you can see, my Twitter is Babs26, so if you want to reach out to me or ask questions and so forth, that's how you can reach me. I could get up here and talk about statistics and how many billions of people have mobile phones and so forth. I'll kind of assume that most of you all know that, and that's why you're here, and you know all that. The reality is, the internet in general, and mobile within that, is transforming almost everything it is that we do. From how we take pictures, to how we get information, to how we connect with one another, and certainly to how we talk on the phone. And it's no longer something just for teenagers or for people in the Western world. It's global and it's mainstream. It truly is, the internet truly is the defining invention of our time. I think if you see these slides visually as it relates to mobile, you can really see without any numbers how vast and far-reaching this is. Here you have a woman. She lives in a shack. She doesn't have any furniture. She sells eggs for a living in a village in Africa. And so clearly she doesn't have a lot of resources. But if you look closely, what she does have is a cell phone. So of course, she has a cell phone. Who won't in the very near future? And that shows really how far-reaching this is. So where's Unilever in all this? To some extent, especially as it relates to digital broadly, we're actually leading in this space. We were the first company to ever win a Grand Lion for a non-television spot at Cannes for our Adobe Evolution video in 2005. We actually were named Digital Marketer of the Year by Advertising Age in 2008. And as recently as last year, we were named the Cannes Advertiser of the Year, with most of our submissions being around the digital space. So to some extent, like I said, we've been leading. However, with the rapid innovations coming in mobile and other things, there's still a long way to go. We're by no means experts or even leading edge at this point. We talked about the impact of D&E, the fact that there's different behaviors in the mobile space. We saw some slides earlier about search, but the reality is search behavior is much different on mobile than it is broadly. You see far less people searching for things. It's more of an app economy, and so there's various behaviors that we need to adjust to. Tablets are game changers. The iPad is a phenomenal device, and things that are happening with Apple's now sold over 100 million devices between tablets and iPhones and iTouches. So it's a game changer, and it's changing a lot of the ways that we're thinking about marketing. And anybody who's in the mobile space, if you don't have an iPad, you should go out and get one immediately. I think it's a critical thing to have today. And no one is really doing a great job yet. It's still kind of, the internet is kindergarten in general, and I think the mobile space, is in its infancy. And it truly is just the beginning as it relates to even consumer behavior. If you really want to see where mobile will be in a short time, I think you take a look at South Korea or Japan. Because I love this story. This is just a day in the life of a typical student in South Korea. She wakes up in the morning. She gets woken up by her phone, which is her alarm clock playing, pops on, which has the music downloaded on. She checks the weather forecast to figure out what to wear. And then she goes into the subway, and with NFC technology, she uses the phone to actually go through the turnstiles. And then she's got 4G connections in the subway itself. So she's watching videos, she's playing games, she updates her blog. And she goes to the campus, and they take attendance, again, by her just swiping her phone. And this is just a shell of the things that she's using her phone for every day, whether it relates to how she's purchasing things, or just in general, everything that she's doing with that phone. And her quote is great at the end. She can easily live a day without her wallet, but she'd absolutely be a disaster if she left the house without her phone in the morning. And that's today, and it'll be a very short time before the Western world and other markets are behaving in the same manner. So where's Unilever going in all this? Our vision is to be the best marketing company in the world. And while that might seem like a grandiose statement, we are the second biggest advertiser in the world, and it's not really a huge stretch to want to become what we would consider to be the single best marketer in the world. And how we would do that? I think there are a number of steps. We're a giant organization, multi-brand, multi-country. I think one of the first things you really have to do to to drive change in an organization like ours is to make sure that senior management at its highest level is engaged and involved and understands kind of the changes in a way that you can really make the kind of changes within the organization that you need to. So we actually went to Silicon Valley with all of our senior leadership, our CMO, our global president, all the EVPs in every one of our categories, myself and other functional heads. We met with Apple, Google, Facebook, Microsoft. We met with all the VCs. We met with the small startup type companies to really embed ourselves in what's happening with changes, what's happening in the future, what's happening today, who we need to partner with, and make sure that our senior management is totally connected with these things so that I, as the person who's kind of leading the digital roadmap of the company, can drive that change with the right executive sponsorship. And some of the things that came out, the one constant across the board, no matter what companies we met with, whether it was the big companies, whether it was the startups, whether it was the VCs, was that mobile was going to be big. Mobile is big today, but it will continue to grow, and it will be a huge shift in consumers as well as marketing. We know that 4 million now, over 5 million phones. We know that 25% of the world is currently online, and we know the next 75% will get online, largely via mobile and mostly in D&E markets. And of course, I talked about the smartphones, apps, and tablets, and the app economy, and how that's driving change versus browser behavior. And as far as what the companies are saying, you can see from the most important companies in the digital space, and really across the board today, the investments and the priority that they're making mobile. Here we have Google, who just purchased Motorola, and we've got Eric Schmidt saying, if you're not focused on mobile, you don't have a future strategy. And look at Facebook, who their mobile chief recently said that within 2 years we're going to be a mobile company. You've got Microsoft, who partnered with Nokia, and Steve Ballmer spoke there, and I love this one. Maybe the most important of all, Apple apps sell 9 times faster than McDonald's burgers. So you know how quickly and rapidly things are changing there. But Apple's got so many more things to talk about. I figured that would be one that maybe something you've ever heard. And then one of the immediate actions that we took out of that Silicon Valley trip, so we walked out, we created a real digital strategy for the company that incorporates several pillars. I'm sure there's a social media conference down the street. That's one of the pillars. Measurement, and then organizational readiness, how we change and train our people and so forth. One of the biggest things was, of course, mobile. And one of the immediate actions we took was to develop a global partnership with Apple. Again, one of their first marketing partners. We were the premier advertiser on their new iAd platform. It was a huge investment. We're putting our money behind on what we're talking about, and we're working with the company who essentially invented the smartphone as it is today. Working with their creatives, with their designers, with their technologists to make sure that we get this right. Like I said, it wasn't a small investment, so we're backing what it is that we're trying to do by working with the company and spending the money that we need to. This is just a video that we just finished our first year of iAd work. We've done multiple brands across multiple countries. We've seen great engagement results to the point where it's actually better than any other channel that we have. And we're just re-up for a second year, so we're continuing to invest behind this and to really focus in more and more ways. But I think Apple is our kind of the driver of our partnership. So if you could just play a quick video, it's a sizzle reel of all the different types of content that we put out on our phones. digital strategy is a pillar that's focused on mobile. We call it our mobile manifesto. And in a world of consumer-generated and people empowered, we've created a mobile manifesto from kind of the words of the people, what would they say, and how would they want us to interact with them. First thing is really be part of our world. We spend more and more of our time on our phones, and we rarely see you. How can you be part of our world if you're never with us? We're not looking for you. So we think about that, and part of that could be just spend more and run a lot of advertising. Of course, you want to do things that are creative and innovative and interesting enough that the time that you spend with them is actually something they would find engaging. So this is just a great example of us. We've partnered. So in Brazil, Seda is an incredibly powerful brand. It's, other places might be like Nike or BMW, incredibly strong brand, and it's Seda, which is called Sunsilk here. It's a hair care brand that targets young females. In our partnership with Nokia, we made a Seda phone outright, so that all the ringtones and the design and the wallpaper, everything was Seda based, and women were lining up to buy these phones from us. So it's a great way to engage in a way that we would consider a partnership to really create the device itself. So that's one strong way to use mobile marketing. And I talk about the different ways to market mobile because I think the first question people always ask is, when we talk about marketing mobile, nobody wants to get interrupted on their phones. So you have to think about different ways to market. So I'll show a number of different diverse examples of how we did it. The next point is about penetrating the culture. In a world where there's so much clutter and it's so difficult to break through and there's so many different challenges, you really have to create things that are exciting, engaging, and point to your target audience in their culture and tap into that. So we're immune to your tired campaigns and our eyes glaze over. Please spark our imagination for something interesting, meaningful, and useful for a change. So in terms of penetrating the culture, our Magnum brand, which is all around kind of pleasure and indulgence, and if you've seen some of the ads, you can see how we're tying into the royal wedding. So we actually promoted trends on Twitter on an ad on top of the royal wedding with Kate and the Prince this past year. 3 weeks prior, 3 weeks after, it was trending for ages, and we were on top of that the whole time talking about Magnum and some great text messages that were about how indulgent Magnum is. And then this is just a different way, to penetrate the culture, which may not be as grand and big as the royal wedding, but it's just interesting and engaging for consumers and hasn't spent a lot of time. We run a print ad, which is missing a piece for Axe, and it requires consumers to actually send in a short code to get the missing piece of the ad. So they do that, they get it sent to them, and then they've got to go up against it to see the rest of this beautiful drill. Of course, we can't lose with this kind of approach, but for Axe, it's perfect. We had a number of different ads that all the missing pieces and kind of form a little game and very engaging for consumers. So a different way to penetrate the culture. Give us something useful. I think this is just one of the best insights that drove a mobile campaign for us for Axe. Also, we know that in Japan and India, 80% of guys ages 16 to 22 use their mobile phone as their alarm clock. It's the way they wake up in the morning. So rather than just one app, we actually created an app outright that allows them to get woken up every day by this hot moment of their choice. And they can pick so in Japan, where broadband is really high, and smartphones have high penetration. It's an app that allows them to pick what she says, and the voice, and the look, and all that. And every day they get woken up right before they get in the shower, and they use apps. And in India, it's more of a phone call because, again, they don't have that level of penetration of smartphones and so forth. But either way, no matter how you slice it, it's great insight. It's very exciting and entertaining, and targets that group in a way that's perfect for how they use it and something useful for them. So you can play that video.
A uniquely attractive mobile content application that means young guys are woken up by beautiful women every morning. To register online, scroll through the angel profile, just set the time and sleep well. And if you were naughty and ignored your wake-up call,
Okay. So then, one of the next thing I think is just generally a point to be made both in digital and mobile, and really almost anything we do is to keep it simple. One of the ways that you look at the way we were giving away, whether it's a coupon or a discount or example, was, you know, you run an ad, it's got a URL that requires a person to walk over to their computer, type in the URL, and then to register on the site. They can navigate a few more pages and find the part where the discount or coupon sample is, and they have to print that coupon and they'll walk to the store to get their, you know, 50 cents off of a bar of soap or shampoo. So it's a lot of steps, it's asking a lot of consumers, and it's highly unlikely you'll get the kind of traction required. Each one of those has a certain drop off that by the time you get to the end, it's just, you know, this is unreasonable to expect. Amazon, for instance, knows, you know, if you move from 3 steps to 2 steps to the shopping cart, it increases business by 30%. So every little step means a lot. Simplicity becomes really important, especially when you're trying to develop a relationship with your consumers and social. So this is one of the ways we made it really simple. Is for one of our ice cream brands is the campaign idea is around this idea of share happy. It actually originated as a great piece of technology that we run in vending machines across various markets where it's got smile recognition technology in the machine, so it recognizes your smile, and if you're smiling, you get a free ice cream, and you can immediately share that with your friends. So we've converted that to an app for phones, where all you have to do is upload a picture to the Walls page on Facebook, and you get a digital voucher for an ice cream. It's as simple as that. It's a behavior they're doing every single day, and it's very common and very natural for them. So it's just a matter of simplicity. And then, of course, in this world of sharing and telling friends, creating some pieces of content, some engagement that allows people to easily share. This body language messenger is just really a fun thing, easy to use. Essentially, it allows them to type in a message through the messenger, and it writes the message with the girls in their underwear spelled out, and it's really great for girls with that age and self-esteem. And the whole campaign, it ties into the equity. It's perfectly integrated into the rest of the campaign as another piece of the overall campaign. And then this is another great, I love this app. How many of you have seen the movie The Hangover? Hopefully everybody has been. So, you know, at the end of The Hangover, the first film, there's that whole scene where they're looking at the pictures from the night before, and they're all kind of like, you know, they don't remember anything, so they see it all through their camera. So this is an extreme application that allows you to essentially do that for nights out with your friends. So it combines with your Twitter and Facebook and everything else you're doing. It's a very simple app. It all brings them together, and then at the end of the night or in the morning, after a night out with a bunch of your friends, all of those tweets and posts and everything get merged together and it forms either a scrapbook or a film, a short clip, anything you want, you can pick and choose it, and it basically tracks your night from the night before. Very similar to the way the end of The Hangover, which was one of the few movies where I think the best scene in the whole movie was during the credits when they showed that part. So that's kind of, you know, that's all the time I have here. Hopefully I got it in my 20 minutes. But we're doing a number of things. We're really driving digital hard at the company. We recognize the importance and the impact of it. Unilever has historically been innovative in all new channels. If you recall way back when, we created Lintas, the first advertising agency. We ran the first ad in the UK on television. We run the first iAd, and we recognize that this is an incredible opportunity. It's a great moment in time, a revolutionary period. We'd like to think that we're in a position now to drive all the great things that are happening in the future. Mobile is currently, I think, the place we have to be to really revolutionize. So we consider this our time. And we hope, not just for us, but for all of you, anybody that's here, anybody that's really pioneering in this space, that when we look back 20 years from now, we'll know that we were part of something that really drove incredible change and pioneered. It's very rare that you're in a company or in a business where you get the opportunity. We're very fortunate to be living in this time right now to drive this kind of change. So thank you. Hope that's all great.